Who invented the toaster?
That's probably a question you've never asked before, but I'm going to tell you who invented it. Because that person is
Alan MacMasters. So in 1893, Alan MacMasters invented the Eclipse toaster and then marketed it to British, and thus he created the toaster. So yeah, that's pretty much the answer to who invented the toaster. Or at least that's what you would think, because something I've been intentionally leaving out is, well,
Alan MacMasters was not the guy who invented the toaster.
Now, you may be wondering why I was lying to you about this, even though you probably shouldn't. Seriously, I lie all the time. The earth is flat!
Well, you see, I wanted to show you what it felt like to be one of the victims and probably one of the funniest hoaxes in Wikipedia history. Because today, let me tell you all about the
Alan MacMasters hoax, a Wikipedia story.
One in which disinformation and Wikipedia go hand in hand.
Which is concerning the fact that I use Wikipedia for research like an idiot.
But anyways, let's get on with the video.
Our story starts in 2012, also known as the year that the Earth should have ended, but sadly didn't.
But anyways.
In 2012, it was looking to be a boring school day for two high school students until their teacher told them something about Wikipedia. You see, the teacher was telling his students that Wikipedia was an unreliable source because anyone can edit it and spread misinformation. You see, to prove his point, the teacher told the students a story about his friend, and how he made up an article on Wikipedia about how he invented the toaster.
And before you ask, no, he wasn't Alan MacMasters. He was some other useless chump who didn't invent the toaster. But anyways.
Now, after hearing what the teacher said, almost everyone in the classroom did what was logical and stopped using Wikipedia and started getting their information from reliable news sources like CNN. Oh god, I couldn't even keep a straight face while saying that.
But anyways, let's get back on track, shall we?
Because as almost everyone in the class took their teacher's advice with a grain of salt,
well, the two students who I mentioned earlier decided to take their teacher's advice as a sign from God to pull off one of the most insane hoaxes ever.
Because those two students would edit out the previous false inventor of the toaster, and they would replace that name with a whole nother false prophet of toasted bread by the name of Alan Alexander MacMasters.
Now, to really sell the fact that Alan MacMasters invented the toaster, they decided to stage a photo.
So they took a photo of their friend who also happened to be named Alan MacMasters.
What a coincidence.
And then they photoshopped it to look all old-timey and stuff, and this was the end result.
I, honest to God, have no idea how anyone thought this was a real photo. Like, it's clearly photoshopped.
Even the Slender Man photos look more convincing than this crap.
But regardless, people thought it was real.
Like, during the 2014 Scottish independence referendum, Alan MacMasters was brought up as a reason they should go independent. Luckily, the majority vote was against the Scottish going independent, but it's still scary that the Scottish almost had an Independence Day, ugh.
But anyways,
the jokesters behind the hoax went a step further and decided to make a fake Wikipedia article about the dude, just to confuse people even more somehow.
And I gotta say, it worked.
But just like with every lie, the truth will eventually prevail.
Because people would eventually find out that this was a hoax.
10 years later!
Yeah! It took us 10 years to discover that this guy was the inventor of the toaster. And, it took us less time to realize the Blair Witch Project wasn't even real. And that's far more convincing than this garbage.
Because a 15-year-old Redditor by the name of Adam Gamer YT discovered that the photo used for the Alan MacMasters article was very much photoshopped.
Which, I mean, it took you long enough.
Well, he proceeded to report this on the subreddit Wikipedia vandalism,
which is used to combat blatant misinformation like this.
And, well, the subreddit decided to do some further digging. By that, I mean they clicked View History, which allows you to see the edits to an article. And lo and behold, he was a fraud! Wikipedia was then made aware of these no-good hijinks of trying to misinform people about who invented the toaster. Wikipedia would then fix the article in order to tell people who actually invented the toaster, and even gave credit to the inventor of the toaster.
As for the two trolls, though,
they were banned from using Wikipedia, which is just, wow, that's like being banned from a calculator. That's just absurd. So, yeah, that was the end of the whole tomfoolery.
Although it does live on as a Wikipedia article, ironically. But despite all this,
it's still a cautionary tale about how misinformation could be spread on Wikipedia.
Despite how harmless this hoax was, it's still misinformation, and at the end of the day, it took 10 years for us to discover that this wasn't true. Think about how many other articles on Wikipedia are false and we just don't know it yet.
Seriously, that's scary. Even the people behind the whole hoax thought it was scary how much people actually thought that this was real.
So yeah, moral of the story is, don't believe everything you see on the internet. In fact, don't believe anything at all. Everything's a fairy tale until you prove it! But anyways, that's pretty much all I had time for today. And right now I'm gonna go make some toast, so yeah, goodbye.